Let's shift gears now for a moment. The Social Impact Arts Prize is aiming to put a focus on creativity which can have a positive impact on society. They want to find arts-based activities, projects or programs which have a direct measurable effect on individuals and communities. Now the winning entry will be transformed into reality through an ongoing arts residency in Graaff-Reinet. To tell us more, we're joined by Roelof van Wyk, who's the director of the Social Impact Arts Prize here in the studio. Roelof, thank you for making the time to come and talk to us. Using creativity to tackle social injustice. That sounds like a huge job. How can creativity do that?
Thank you for having me, firstly. I would like to remark, firstly, that one day I would like Parliament and South Africa to be celebrating a team of artists, yes, in the very way that the Springboks have been celebrated.
Indeed.
There's been an underinvestment in arts and culture forever. You know, it's quite exciting watching a game of box playing, where it's not as exciting to watch paint dry. So the Social Impact Arts Prize really does exactly what it says. It is a program or a project that's looking for creative ideas that can actually impact and improve individuals and societies in general and specifically. There are ways of measuring it, you know, the impact on an individual, skills transfer, knowledge transfer, learning how to make something, learning how to think about something, learning how to sell something that is made or created through an arts-based process, so to speak.
Now, where do you even start looking? Because people generally think art is something that snooty people go into a room and they sip on some wine or plonk and cheese and they try and talk very intelligently about what they see or what it inspires in them. But that really isn't what art is and what history has proven to us what art is. And this competition is different to a fine art competition, as it were. Who are you looking to hear from when you're trying to find who to give this prize to?
It's a South African competition, national competition for all creatives. And we're not just looking for artists, we're looking for engineers, we're looking for architects. We are looking for anybody with a creative idea, poets, musicians, anybody who's ever thought of an idea that they think is creative and can actually change somebody else's life. So we really want to drop the bar to thinking creatively quite low. We specifically work in the area of Graaff-Reinet, and it really is the tradition of art making is found in Graaff-Reinet.
It goes back centuries.
It goes back 7,000 years. So the earliest artists of this country and of this world, we find their works there. It is the Khoisan artists who drew beautiful drawings of their world, their lives, their rituals on the walls, and we want these creators to continue that tradition. This is pretty much the opposite of art on a wall, in a gallery, with a glass of Chardonnay in your left hand. It really is where any individual can participate, be it in a group or a program, making things, recycling something, building a massive sculpture, or whatever it is that we can come up with. I think we aim to involve literally every single person who has a creative idea into the bigger picture.
Now, we live in a South African society where the shackles of apartheid can be seen when you drive into a metro, and just outside of the CBD you see townships where people were moved to, sometimes violently so. There are no trees that have been planted there, and the list goes on and on. Some of the case studies that you've put on your website to give people an idea of the projects that you're looking for looks at how economically and historically depressed areas where art and creativity can be used to really talk to the hearts and minds of people, and then eventually have a physical impact on that which surrounds them. Tell us of some of the projects that you look to as an example of what could really make a difference in South Africa. I think specifically there was a project in Chicago where an artist did some great work in the economically depressed areas of the south side of Chicago, and the results there for his project have been phenomenal.
His name is Theaster Gates, and to quote him, he says, "Beauty is where it lives." And he also says, it's cool to make a beautiful thing, but it's more cool to make the thing that makes the beautiful thing. And I believe we plug into something where we believe that there's talent everywhere. Every individual has a talent, every individual has potential, and what he has done is to develop structures that can identify that talent, be it a craftsperson, a painter, a welder, a painter, an artist painter, a wall painter, and give them an opportunity to express that creativity. This particular artist works in public space, he works in private space. Yes, they make objects, but they make spaces where, for example, the youth of the era can come and congregate and listen to the latest hip-hop or soul records in a secure and safe environment, you know. So he does a lot of kind of social work through the art processes, but he empowers people to believe in themselves and to find within their own talent and their own creativity a way to make an existence. And when somebody becomes proud of who they are and what they do, in general, that community starts being uplifted. And yes, hopefully, in our case, some economic development will follow that.
We spoke, when you started the interview, we spoke about how arts programs, whether it's in school or other institutions, when budget becomes an issue, as it is, if you look at our economy at the moment, it's the first thing that goes, unfortunately, whether it's the arts, music, or any of those that fall under in that sphere. Is it time that there is an acceptance that government has its hands full trying to build toilets for people, to give them housing, and that it's up to people in corporate South Africa to ensure that arts is used in the most positive way to have an impact on people's lives?
Absolutely. I think creative thinking is always valuable. Creative solutions to problems of the day, be it water, be it poverty, be it education, be it climate change, as we know, we've seen that earlier. We have to think creatively. We cannot accept somebody else is going to come and solve it for us. And I think the artist and creative community of South Africa is an incredible resource that has been undervalued because, and I'll come back to your comment, because they think we are people who make things in frames and we sell them at art fairs in expensive cities, in expensive spaces with expensive drinks. And we have to break that down. We have to turn the pyramid upside down. We have to think from below, and we have to learn from those communities and their creative thoughts and what matters to them. I firmly believe we have incredible stories to tell in this country, every individual, every community, and how we tell those stories as a way to make art, which can then improve and help those communities. I think that, to me, is the crux of this work.
We have to wrap it there, but just very quickly, if people want to find out more about the Social Impact Arts Prize, if somebody's sitting at home saying, I've got this great project or an idea, where can they find out more?
The base of the website, so Social Impact Arts, plural, prize.org. Somebody search for that and it'll point you there. You register, you read a few things there, and you can start dreaming, start imagining, start thinking. If you had 3 months in Graaff-Reinet with a great team, with tools, with material, and a wonderful set of communities in that town, what would you do to start changing the world?
And I believe there's also information for workshops that they can go to as well, all on that website.
We've been running that for the past few weeks, and there's a few more to come, but simply ask a question and it'll be answered.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Roelof van Wyk is the director of the Social Impact Arts Prize, the deadline coming up in December. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you everything of the best. We'll have more news after this. Stay with us.